Young couple visits doctor seeking advice. "Sir, you gotta help us. We tried everything to have a baby. We tried vitamins. We tried changing positions. We tried every different day of the month. We searched internet for pregnancy advice. But we just can't seem to have any luck with it. We need to know if there is some medical problem." Doctor sat back on his chair, crossed his hands and sighed. "You boys are nuts." A police officer pulls over a speeding car. The officer says, "I clocked you at 120 kilometers per hour, sir." The driver says, "Christ, officer, I had it on cruise control at 100. Perhaps your radar gun needs calibrating." Not looking up from her knitting, the wife says, "Now don't be silly, dear. You know that this car doesn't have cruise control." As the officer writes out the ticket, the driver looks over at his wife and growls, "Can't you please keep your mouth shut for once?" The wife smiles demurely and says, "You should be thankful your radar detector went off when it did." As the officer makes out the second ticket for the illegal radar detector unit, the man glowers at his wife and says through clenched teeth, "FK at woman, can't you keep your mouth shut?" The officer frowns and says, "And I noticed that you're not wearing your seat belt, sir. That's an automatic $75 fine." The driver says, "Yeah, well, you see, officer, I had it on but took it off when you pulled me over so that I could get my license out of my back pocket." The wife says, "Now, dear, you know very well that you didn't have your seat belt on. You never wear your seat belt when you're driving." And as the police officer is writing out the third ticket, the driver turns to his wife and barks, "Why don't you shut the FK up?" The officer looks over at the woman and asks, "Does your husband always talk to you this way, ma'am?" The wife replies, "Only when he's drunk."